Are we filming? Yeah. Hello everyone. Yep, you guessed it, I'm still here. I'm in Cornwall. Tonight I'm in a place called Mullion Cove, which is next door to Mullion Cove, which is a lot closer to where I'm staying. It's taken about, I don't know, 20 minutes to get here. And I parked at a car park slightly at the top of the hill, and I'm just walking down now, and it's an honesty box car parking, so drop a few coins in there on the way out. Now the sun is still up quite high, as you can see. I've got here a little bit early tonight. I do know what I'm taking pictures of, and yeah, as you've noticed, big puffer jacket out, 8 degrees. It's nice in the sun, but a little bit cold on the end of the wind. So yeah, I'm just heading down to the cove now. There's a nice little fishing hut in the corner which I quite like, and then I'm going to go up the hill. I've got a sneaky feeling it's a bit of a cliche shot at the top looking down at the harbour, but I'm going to get that as well, and I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so here I'm trying to get a little fishing building in. I don't want too much of the foreground, I just want the rocks going up the steps onto the house. I'm at F11, 30th of a second, RSA 64, and I might close in and get a portrait as well. It's a really nice side light coming off that. I don't want to get too close, so I might stay here, because if I get too close I'll start to be looking up a slope and I won't be able to see all the fishing nets and everything outside, the lobster baskets. So focus on the step in the foreground. F11. One 2-second timer on the release. That might be slightly over. Yep, I'm overexposing there, it's flashing away. Can make it a bit darker. 100th of a second. Just a tiny bit of blowout now on the clouds above. But I think I can put up with that. Just outside a little fisherman's hut, which I quite like. If you look, it's still got the lobster baskets outside the front, and a really rusty old door. I really like it. Just looks like they chucked it there and just forgotten about it. Or maybe it's for us. It attracts us, photographers. I'm going to take a few shots of this. I'm trying to be a little bit quiet because there's residents in the hotel opposite. And obviously I don't want to draw too much attention to myself. So this is properly in the shade here, and it's not even backlit because the sun is right behind it. I'm getting nothing from the sun. So what I could do here is just forget about the sky and just expose for the building itself, and then that way the less important area doesn't really matter. So, you know, all the overexposed areas flashing away at me, screaming, help me, get me underexposed. But yeah, it's not important, so I might see if there's another angle here. There's nothing going on in the sky above the house, so if I just come slightly out, try and catch the sun on the corner of the building, like, there she is. Don't stare at the sun obviously, but just enough sun to give you a bit of a sun flare on the corner of the building. That always looks quite nice. Let's go for that. So I'm at f18, 200th of a second at ISO 64. The sun is just starting to blow out, so now I'm going to try and make my way down to the other exposures. Don't forget, focus once and then take it on to manual focus so that it doesn't automatically seek. Take your shot and then move the exposure down again. I prefer to do my bracket in manually. Gives me a bit more control. And I only use 3 images. So I think that might work. I might be dealing with a bit of sun flare though across the lens. I feel like I've gone for a bit of an obvious shot here. Anyone could have just rocked up and taken this shot. There's nothing magical about it. Now, not so obvious. Look for different shots. Own it. Bring something new to the table. Everyone else has gone probably for that same shot. So, bring something in yourself. Bring the aperture down to f11 again. You've got to remember all these movements you're doing with the settings, you've got to push them back. Put them back where you need them. Now this works because I've got no edge of the building sticking out. I've got the chimney in and I've got the lobster baskets. I've got a little bit of overexposure behind the building in the clouds. It's not important, but I can afford to go slightly under. Now, make this really interesting. Let's get closer to that lobster basket because this is what the wide angle is all about. Getting closer to your subjects and making them bigger. So I'm going for this shot So what I'm doing here is I'm drawing you across the image in a diagonal line. I'm going to record the back of what I'm seeing and I'll try and explain it. So it's in portrait mode, and what I'm trying to do is anchor your eye to here and then lead you across the image in a diagonal line. The interest is going up to the door and then towards that window. Can I get a bit more in? There we go, got a bit more in for you. It's different from my shot, but that's pretty much it. I'm just trying to draw your eye from this corner, which I'm focused about here. I'm trying to draw your eye across the image in a diagonal line, so you're looking through the image. There's no sun here, so there's no dark shadows and things like that I can use here. It would be nice if it had a side light, but I'm happy with this. Okay, we're going to move around the corner now. Just around here there's a seat made out of a boat, and the oars are their arms. So I'm going to take you around there and we're going to have a look at that. I'm just going to show you this seat here, made out of a couple of oars for arms, and then it looks like the back end of the boat is used for the backrest, and the texture on it is really nice. It's almost like a rust, but it's the paint, I believe, and a combination of the rust running down the middle from the nails. But yeah, look at that, the oars on the side. I think we're still a little way off tourist season at the moment, because I've noticed most of these areas I've visited during the day are not very busy, and some of the shops are still shut. Okay, so I really like this seat and I want to make it quite a dominant feature in my shot, so I'm going to move in close. I've got a wide angle on it, and I'm focused on the front back area of the seat. What do I use? I've got to bring the exposure down. In fact, this might have to be HDR as well if I want this to work properly. Let's just use the in-camera leveler to level the image a bit, because I can't use the horizon much because it's only on one side of the image. And I'm focused on the back of the chair. Get the histogram back so I can see what I'm doing. So first image, lock the focus so it doesn't drift back and forth. Take the first image. So that's somewhere in the middle. Quickly go for my underexposure. This is to get the sky in. And then overexposure to get all that lovely detail in the seat, in the chair. I might move closer to the chair actually, because I really do want that to stand out. So that's my first image of the chair. I'm going to try again. This time I'm going to get a bit closer to the chair itself. So now I've got my tripod leg up on the side here. Just going to let these people pass. Yeah, definitely feeling the cold a bit more this time. So now that the people are gone, focus again, about a third of the way into the chair. Take first shot, then underexpose because those people are going to walk down the back, and they are. One more shot. Now I don't know whether that's going to mess up my HDR, so I might not use all of those shots, I might just use one. Unless I can quickly get all these shots before they come back up. I'm going for it. Not here yet, my under. Oh, they're just coming up now. My last shot. Unfortunately, you do have to wait for people to leave the scene. And the underexposed. Right, now I'm going to head up onto the cliff around the back. See if we can get some lovely light down there. Alright, I am heading up this hill and whew, should not have had that bag of chips. Got a lovely light on that horizon. Not sure if you can see it. The rays just seem to be coming through the clouds there. It's very dark in the foreground. Still looks really nice. I remember some of the last days in March where it snowed. I think it did today in Ipswich. Up at the top now. I'm looking into Mullion Cove now. This is the little harbour wall, and the sun is really spectacular behind me now. Really like that. I just want a bit of light to come through, light up this edge of everything here. I've got a lovely foreground here, so I'm using these little rocks which look like they're slices of rock that have gone in a bit like a sandwich, and I'm kind of using them. I've got some tiny little rocks in there which I'm going to try and use this little curve to complement them, and then try and get all of this in. It is a little bit right hand heavy. I don't know, I'm going to see if I can make it work. I'm doing a portrait orientation. Hopefully I will be able to show you a few shots. Now, you might think that I'm hanging on the edge here, but I'm not. There is like steps staggering down, rocks going down here, and then it goes to a smooth face slide all the way down to the sea. So I'm quite safe here, I think. So again, what I'm trying to do is get this formation of rocks in the foreground, trying to find a nice balance between the rocks in the foreground, the central area, and then off into the clouds, into the distance. I'm just waiting for the sun to come back now, and when it does, I'm hoping it just kisses all the rocks and the big rock down in the cove. I'm not using really a rule of thirds here, I'm just trying to use balance. And you need to remember to flip your autofocus back to autofocus on the camera body, because now you want to focus again. Now you could manually focus, but I quite trust the Nikon focusing, so I'm just going to use that. Just easier, it just means I've got to concentrate on composition. And you should be a bit more reliant on your tools to be able to seek and find a focal point that you've selected. So here I'm on f11 ISO 64 1/13 of a second, and I'm at 35mm. And the reason for that is because in order to get less rocks in the foreground, I've had to zoom in a bit. Now I could move over it, but that will put me nearer the edge of the cliff, and I don't really fancy standing right on the edge. Looking at this first image, this is fully zoomed out, as wide as it will go, 24mm. And you can see there's far too much rock here. Now what I did is I moved forwards a little bit, and it takes out some of the sea here, which is negative space to me. I don't want too much of that because your eye will see that. And now I've given you something to focus on here, into the midground, and then when the clouds catch light as well, you should be able to see drifting off into the background there as your eyes read the image. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to guide you through this image here. And as you can see, where I positioned these rocks in the foreground here, I put them inside this little cup. Now I haven't done that on every single image. At some point you may see them on the tip of that little bit there, but there's separation. Always have space around things you want to give another dimension to. Cameras are quite good at making things look flat. Cool. And that is at 35mm where I found that composition. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below. This to me does seem a bit of a cliche shot. I imagine it's been used in some brochures somewhere. It seems a little bit too obvious to me. Rocks in the foreground. Yeah. I didn't even check online, to be fair. I just come up here and I found 2 potential areas you can take a shot. I really do like what's going on out at sea at the moment. Be good if I can find a composition that looks out that way, because I'm sure you can agree what's going on up in that sky is looking really spectacular out there at the moment. So I might find myself a composition that will allow me to get that in. Yeah, it'd just be nice if I could find something in the foreground that I can work with here. There's a few little rocks behind me. I might go further back. But bear with me. Oh, the sun is cutting through right now. Looking really good on this rock side. Not sure if it's here for long. It's going now. That was glorious, whatever that was. Tiny little gap in the clouds just allowed me to take a shot then. The sun is actually shining through there. Just occurred to me that I've got the wrong footwear on. I've got my trainers on. I normally have my walking boots. Best not talk to you about what to wear when you're photographing. Maybe I will go over that. But I think that's it for me. I don't think I'm going to get any more shots here tonight. I'm going to hang around as long as I can, but I have to bear in mind that I've got to walk back in the dark. And with the wrong footwear I don't feel very confident. So yeah, that's it for me tonight. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and please do drop a comment down in the comments below and I will respond. And next week I will be back in Hampshire. This is my last day of the holiday. I've really enjoyed it. And my next adventure, which is about a month away, I'll let you know nearer the time what I'm doing. But hopefully it will be with a small group of friends of mine. And until then, stay tuned, and I'll see you on my next adventure. Catch you later. Bye bye.